Got cool that they don't like to see you winning. They wanna see you in a penitentiary. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. My mama told me, boy, make a decision.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Clutch Talk podcast /YouTube/ We Do It All. As always, I am your host, John. Very happy to be here. My boy Jay Hizzle there in the 6. How you doing, baby?
Man, I'm doing good. We got a very special guest on, my guy Mike Stedman from UMass, former from Union City, California, former San Jose State Spartan, Montana Grizzly at San Jose State, and now at UMass. And at San Jose State, he led the team in scoring and rebounding. So we got a baller in the building tonight. So yeah, say what up to the Clutch Talk fans, Mike. Introduce yourself a little bit.
So how y'all doing? Like he said, he kind of introduced it. I'm from the Bay Area on the East Coast, ready to get to work for my final year.
Man, well, Mike, we are very, very excited to have you on, man. We got a whole lot to talk about, man. You know, your basketball journey definitely hasn't been one way, man. You've taken many stops along the way, and you worked very hard. So we just want to talk to you about that today, man. You cool with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do that. Let's do it, man. So, Mike, let's kick this off to where it all started, man. Let's start when the ball got put in your hands. At what age did you start playing basketball, and when did you really fall in love with basketball and know, man, this is for me, this is what I want to do in life?
So at first I actually played baseball, but I started playing basketball in 5th grade. So I was about like 10, 11 years old. My dad put it in my hands because like just growing up, he was playing basketball, and like he would just always talk about it. And I was also like really tall. I was like five, when I started playing, I was like 5'8", 5'9". So I kind of just fell in love with the game throughout just playing throughout the years, through middle school and high school, and then eventually through college.
Okay, and you said that you were taller than others and stuff like that. So you've always just been more physically gifted. So on that leads us right to my first point that I want to talk about is your first like real basketball stint, and that's at James Logan, man. When you hit high school, and I seen your numbers, Mike. You was dominant. He was dominant, man. 15-9. You're earning all league honors, man. So I seen the numbers, but but I want to talk about your time there at James Logan, and tell me how was it there? Was it that you were just physically more dominant than everybody, so it was just easier? Was it did you have to get up to speed with everyone? Like, were you not ready for the high school level when you first hit James Logan?
To be honest, no, I wasn't dominant. Like for the first 3 years, I wasn't that good of a ball player. Like I was still growing into my body. I was kind of late in development wise. I was lazy back then. Like, I don't know. I just like a whole mindset. And then like after my junior year, something just like switched. And we had a new coaching staff come in, and they believed in me and my talent. So we just worked that whole summer. And I went from averaging like you said, I averaged like 16 my senior year. The year before that, I think I averaged like 5 points. And so I just blossomed throughout the year. Like I was just, all that work paid off basically.
Man, and I really saw it paid off because Jay Hill, you got to listen to this, man. My man Mike was a monster out there. He had a 24-10 game, a 22-14, a 27-8, 25-9, 15-15. So man, these double doubles were coming to Mike almost nightly, man. So I know you was out there working, man. But let's talk about, because me and Jay Hill, we also from the Bay, so we know James Logan and school and De La and the schools around, man. So let's talk about what was your favorite school to play at when you were in high school, when you were just dominating these kids?
I gotta say Newark. That was our rival. I mean, we were the first team to beat them in I think it was 14 years. Newark was beating us every year. And then when we beat them at their home, we beat them twice actually that year. So that was kind of crazy. That was school history. That was for sure our biggest game. And Moreau was a pretty good game too. They had a couple few D1 players on that team.
Okay. So what year did you finish at James Logan? Because I finished at 2014 in De La, and I remember a few names like Oscar Fryer, may rest in peace. Joey Frenchwood at Newark. But what year did you finish over there at Newark, at James Logan?
I played 2016. I played both of those dudes. So
okay,
yeah.
It's tough.
Actually, when I was younger, yeah, I played with a few of those dudes on the same team, like Terrell Brown, Oscar, Damari, all them dudes. They had a really good team. They were ranked in the state. So every time we played them, we had to get up. We knew it was a big game.
So that leads me to my next question for you. You talked about playing against some good hoopers over there at Logan. So what comes to mind, like matchup stories of guys you cooked or you gave the work, or maybe cook you, vice versa? Like, yeah, talk about that. Who in particular comes to mind when you think of that?
You talking about? I mean, I played a lot of good players. Like, you talking about just in my whole hoop career, or just like
at Logan specifically, like in high school? Who was like a matchup where you can just like right off the bat give us a little story about, sometime you cook someone or they gave you the work and you're just like, damn, can't let that down.
That's a good question. I just think, like you said, like the Moreau. I think the Moreau team, that was like a big matchup. I want to say I got cooked, but I had some good games against them. I think that game, the game you said, I had like 15 points and 15 rebounds. And
okay,
that was a pretty good game. We played De La. We played all those teams, but they, like those teams don't really have like a huge star player. Usually, they play more as a team. So like, we played a lot of good basketball teams.
Yeah, no, I feel that. And then, so talk about like your time with Team Lillard. So this was during high school when you was at Logan, or was this before?
This is after I graduated, because I played as an unsigned senior. Like I said, I was a late I wasn't as good as I was supposed to be before my senior year started, so I wasn't able to be on the Team Lillard team. So like after my senior year ended, I was trying to still get a scholarship, and I ended up playing with them dudes. And I enjoyed it. I got to play with a lot of like the best players out of the Bay Area. We went to Atlanta. We played in Texas. We played a lot of good teams. We played Team Loaded. They had a guy go to Clemson. That's one guy that I can remember. I think his name was Armand Sims. I think he's in the NBA right now. He was killing.
Okay.
But yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then so Team Lillard, you said a few big names out of the Bay. Who in like particular? Or who name some guys on that Team Lillard squad he was running?
Sule Boom. I don't know if you know who that is. He plays at UTEP right now.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good. We had this new name, Terrell. He plays at Washington State right now. My friend Austin, Mike Wright. He was really good. He played on my junior college team. Yeah, a lot of guys. It was a bunch of us. Cameron Reese. He played at Oakland Tech.
Okay. So you had a lot of names there, man. So I want to keep it pushing. I want to talk about your next AAU team that you played on, and that was West Coast Fire. So talk to me a little bit about how you found out about this team, about how you why you left Team Lillard to go play for this team, and how was your time there?
I actually played with them guys before I went to Team Lillard, but that's actually my dad's team. Because my dad actually had an AAU team when I started playing, and that team was out of Oakland because that's where he was living at the time. Okay. So like, because my parents didn't live together for like basically my whole time in high school and middle school. So like, I would go over there and live with him on the weekends, and he started an AAU team out there. So I've been playing with him ever since I started playing basketball. But that's pretty much basically all the guys out the hood of the area of Oakland, and then like basically my friends I grew up playing with. But we had like a really good team though. We still had a lot of good players, so we were competing at a pretty high level.
Okay, and I know how them AAU tournaments be. I grew up playing AAU too. You go to Reno or you go to Vegas or wherever it is, and I know sometimes you may play a team. You may play a team that you don't even know about, and you get popped by one of these great players. So I know you got one of these great stories, man, about a crazy AAU tournament that you were just like, man, who is this guy? Well, how is this guy so good? What team is this good? So you got any stories of finding out about players through these AAU tournaments?
Yeah, I don't remember the dude's name, but we went to Vegas one time. The dude gave us like 40. Like he was dunking. And after the game, I'm like, who the hell is this dude? And we go on YouTube. We got a whole Ball's Life mixtape. I can't remember the dude's name, but he was ridiculous. He had like every coach in the gym watching him play. Like that, he was tough.
Man, yeah, I already know how that be, man. Them AAU tournaments growing up, you would just you'll figure out people that aren't even ranked, man. But all right, well, Mike, I wanna keep it pushing, man, because now we starting to get to your collegiate level, man. When you really started to really put into work with this basketball stuff, man, and that's at City, man. You know, you kicked it off. Mike, just a little FYI, I'm out there from San Francisco too. I went to SF State, so like I'm locked in with all the City Hoopers too, man. So I definitely it was cool to see you go there. But let's talk about what made you choose City, Mike. You know, and was it anywhere else? Could you have gone anywhere else? And what was the reason that you ended up ultimately deciding to go play at City?
Yeah, so like when I played at Team Lillard, I actually got a lot of I got a fair amount of recruitment. Like I had USF recruiting me, I had Hawaii, Sam Houston State, but I actually ended up not being a qualifier, so I had to actually go to the JUCO route. So what led me over there is that we're the best team in California, and I wanted to stay home. I wasn't really looking to go out of state yet. So I ended up choosing there, and I think it was the best decision at the time. I still think that to this day.
Okay, and talk a little bit about your 2 years at City. I do got both your first year and your second year here numbers pulled up, and Mike, you was still a beast on the glass. You was still a beast, man. So talk a little bit about your 2 years. You know, what was some of your favorite times? You know, your up moments and down moments. You know, people wouldn't know about.
I think like at first, I'm gonna talk about my down moment. I had to get adjusted like the college level. It's a big difference going from high school to college, even junior college. Like you got to get adjusted to like how hard you got to play. Like it's a way faster game. I had to gain some weight. Like I was like only 200 pounds at 6'9" at that point, so it was a big adjustment period. But like the ups, I got to play with some great players. Like I don't know if you know who Eddie Stansbury is. He played at Hawaii. He went to Reardon actually, right across the street from the school. Like I said, mentioned earlier, Mike Wright. We had a whole team. Like we actually won state my second year, so like I don't regret the decision at all.
Yeah, no, for sure, Mike. And the thing is, I played at Foothill before I ended up playing in Canada. But I always found about like Cali and the JUCO level is it's kind of underexposed, right, compared to like the national JUCOs and stuff like that. But what would you say to kind of about your experience like with City and the level of competition? Because I found the competition was good, like just as good as like a national JUCO or whatever, but it's just underexposed because people are like, oh, you got to go to national JUCO or whatever. But what would you say to a kid trying to make it out of Cali in the JUCO level and kind of advice you'd say about that?
I would just say don't even listen to that noise because a lot of people that say that don't really know what they're talking about. But like Cali JUCO is competitive either way you put it. I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams that, like, just like in national JUCO, there's going to be teams that are not going to be as competitive. But for the most part, every team is going to give you their best effort. So I think just put your head down and work and try to get out the gut.
Oh, okay, and that leads me right to my next question. You know, you saying you got to put your head down and work, but could you give us, Mike, you know, well, for a listener, for people who are in that California JUCO cycle, man, and like how Jay Hill said, man, I think it's no joke. I think it's serious, and we know that in JUCOs, it's very hard to stay focused, man. It's very hard to stay focused, especially when you feel that you're better than where you're supposed to be at. You know, you have more potential, so it's very hard to stay focused. But you, Mike, you know, you were able to, you know, keep your head down, keep working, and stay motivated. But what was something that you did, you know, when you were at time when you're at City to be able to stay focused, stay motivated, and keep your eyes on the prize that's man, I want to get to a D1 program?
Shoot, I would just, like you said, I had a tough schedule. Like I would work out 2 times a day before I even practice. I don't know. I just like always envisioned me being at that next level. I always thought ahead, like, all right, I know I'm gonna get there. What do I gotta do? Is that making 200 shots a day? Is that watching extra film? Like just having your mind on the prize really is just what kept me motivated to get out of there.
Okay, and out of your 2 seasons that you had over there at City, if you could relive one game, you go back and relive it, what game would you relive?
Ooh, probably the game. There's a few good games. Probably the game I had like 32 points. I only played like 25 minutes
against LA Trade.
Yeah.
Okay, that's efficiency at its finest, man. That's efficient right there.
I didn't even play that much. Like I didn't play as much. Like I was going crazy. That was a cool game.
Man, yeah, that game, that definitely. I even got that written down here. I was like, man, we got to talk about that game.
Yeah, that was a fun game. I was making a bunch of threes. I was doing it all.
Okay, all right. So after you conquer the JUCO level, you make it to the next level, man, and you get to San Jose State. So talk about what made you choose San Jose State, and could it have been anywhere else that got you?
The guy that was recruiting me, I had a really good relationship with him. His name is Jay Morris. He's at San Diego State now, or actually now he's at USC. He just got the job at USC. So he was texting me every day. Like I just went where I was wanted the most, to be honest. And it was close to home, and it was in a good conference. So I felt that was the best decision at the time.
For sure.
But that was a great decision, Mike, because like how Jay Hill said in the beginning of this pod, man, you led the Spartans in scoring with 13 points per game. You led them in rebounds with nine rebounds per game. And throughout the season, you were also able to rake in 11 double-doubles. So it's been a theme, Mike. You've been a monster on the glass your whole career, man. So again, I want to ask you, what would be a game that you would relive when the time that you spent at San Jose State? And a follow up to that is, I got to get a toughest matchup, because now you're at a high top tier college basketball, man. Now, there ain't no scrubs on there. 1 through 15 could play. So if you don't bring it every single night, you could get worked. So talk to us about some of your toughest matchups out there.
Nah, I got a game for you. Well, we played New Mexico in the beginning of the conference, and it didn't go good. The coach got mad at me, took me out the game. A bunch of stuff happened. So we play him again 2 months later, and my coach basically challenged me for the game. And then I was like, all right. And the guy I was going against was a McDonald's All-American in high school, and he went to Kansas. I don't know if you know who he is, Carlton Bragg. And I think I had 24 and 12 when we won the game. That was a really good game. I think that was probably my best game.
Was that against Air Force, the game against Air Force?
No, that was the 7th. I think that was a different game. This was New Mexico at home. The game against Air Force, I think it had 18 rebounds or something like that. That was a pretty fun game too. Yeah,
you had 24 and 18, man. He was killing out there that
game. Yeah, that was a big game too. Unfortunately, we couldn't pull it out. But the New Mexico game stand out too, because we won and we needed that game at that time, because they beat us pretty bad at their place.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know you had some tough matchups, especially in the Mountain West and everything. But talk about a little bit about, so you made it to the summit of college sports, at least collegiately. Every athlete in high school who has aspirations of making pro or whatever wants to play D1. That's the thing everyone works hard towards. So talk about the struggles and maybe not even the struggles of the work you got to put in at the D1 level, what you experienced in your first year at San Jose State.
Yeah, you're going to work. You got weights. Oh, at first, this was my schedule in the fall. We had practice. We wake up at 5:50. We have practice at 6 to 8. And then we have weights 8 to 9. Then you have 3 classes back to back. Then you got study hall. And then you got to go get some extra shots in probably for 40 minutes. You exhausted. So you got to just get your body and your mindset adjusted to that, because not everybody's willing to do it. As you can see, a lot of guys don't make it out of D1. If they do make it, some don't last. So just putting that extra work in and being able to just grind out when it's time to go.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So as we keep it moving in your collegiate career, Mike, you made the transfer to Montana State. So talk to us about what prompted that transfer. What was the reason that you were able to you wanted to leave San Jose and go to Montana?
Well, for one, we didn't have a really good season as a team. I mean, I had a good team individually, but I was also looking for a place where I could feel like we could have a chance to compete for championships. And also, my coach that recruited me had left before this, during the season. So I was like, yeah, I'm about to just put my name in the portal and see what I get. And I ended up in Montana.
So, I mean, I'm sure San Jose and Montana, just two totally different, weather, culture, everything, man. So talk to us about, was there a culture shock when you got there? Was there an adjustment period where you're damn, I'm a kid from the Bay and now I'm out here? What is going on?
Yeah, when that snow first hit, it was super crazy. It was probably like I think 15 degrees outside. The road was slippery as hell, so you had to drive like 5-10 miles per hour. It was crazy. And like the only time you were really warm was when you was in the gym or in the house.
Right. So you had a whip your whip out there when you was out in
Yeah, I drove
Montana?
up there. I drove up from the Bay Area to Montana.
Okay. You had those snow tires on there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Still
Okay. Yeah.
Still crazy slippery.
Yeah. Oh man.
So Mike, what would be a piece of advice? You know, because a lot of people are in your position. You know that they're in they committed to a program, or they're in a program, and then they come to see that it's not really what they thought it was, or man, I'm not getting the playing time I thought I was going to get, or I'm not as happy as I know I could be. And a lot of people are in that predicament and don't put their name in the transfer portal, and you go through with it. So what would be some advice that you would give to a kid that is trying to find the courage and work up the courage to be able to transfer from the current program they're at to do what's best for them? Because at the end of the day, Mike, you did what's best for you, and it's working out, man.
Yeah, well, initially, if you feel like that's the right move, you need to do it. Personally, you got to think it over. Just don't do it like irrationally, but think it over. Go into recruitment with an open mind. Ask questions that you want to ask, because you don't want to go over there and be surprised. And also, just look for the best fit. That's what I do. I usually just look for the best fit.
Okay, and then what about over there in Montana? I know you had just a shorter stint over there. You played 19 games, but in the 19 games, you definitely did work. 9 points per game, 5 rebounds. You were second on the team for most rebounding and block shots. So your time over there, what was one game that if you could relive that you would definitely go back to relive?
Probably I had a couple. I like the first game. The first game we started off against USC. That was a pretty fun game. It was on television, and I was playing against a top 5 draft pick, and Evan Mobley. That was a pretty fun matchup. And then another one is when we played Northern Colorado at home. I had a pretty good game that game. That was a fun game.
Okay,
I would say those two.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then, Mike. You talk about Evan Mobley, and we as like, I guess I would call us casuals. We're not 6'10", 6'11" NBA players, right? So like, talk to us about what is the biggest difference, of course, besides skill and agility and strength, between playing a player that you play at a San Jose State conference and then playing Evan Mobley, a top 5 draft pick. Talk about like the biggest difference, if you're understanding my question.
The biggest difference, I would say they just, like you kind of mentioned, it's kind of hard to say, but they're just super talented, man. Like he's 7'1", he can shoot. He got skill around the basket. He didn't really have a good game against us, but I've seen him throughout the season. After like we played him, like you could see. Y'all know both of you guys watched him play. He's a great player. So, but yeah, it was a fun matchup.
Sure, yeah. Nah, he's cold. He's cold for sure. And then so you talked about your time at Montana, Mike, but now you're over. And is it Amherst, Massachusetts, over at UMass? That's where it's at now. So talk about your decision to leave Montana now, and then you're at UMass now, and it looks like you're gonna be there because you're a grad transfer. So talk about like your decision to go there. Talk about your season, what is the preseason, I guess, and what you're looking forward to, and then
yeah, my decision to go here. I just trusted the coaching staff. They were recruiting me pretty hard. I thought it was a really good fit. They lost a pretty big piece at my position, and he had a lot of responsibility. I think I could help fill in those shoes a little bit. And I just had a big trust factor with him. That was the biggest thing. I wanted to be able to trust him. So, and right now preseason is going pretty good. We started our first practice on Friday, so we've been grinding. I mean, we've been practicing, but like this is like Friday is like where we can start practicing every day. Right. So we've been going, like Saturday we had 2 practices, Friday we had a practice, and Sunday we had a practice. So we've been going pretty hard.
Okay, and what are some matchups that you're looking forward to this year, Mike? I know you guys. I was looking at you guys' upcoming schedule this year. You guys got some good games coming. Yeah. So what are some that you guys circled on that schedule?
I got all the big games circled. We play Penn State, Rutgers, VCU and St. Bonaventure. Those are probably the 2 biggest ones because they're in our league and they went to the tournament last year. And they're you know what I mean, they're they're well known, so they're a pretty good team. Who else do we play? We got it. I think we play Harvard. That should be a pretty fun game too. I never played. I think we played them at home, so that'll be a good game. And we play Yale. We play a Florida. We got a tournament in Florida. I'm looking forward to that too. So.
Okay. So
I'm pretty much looking forward to all the games, man. It's my last year, so I'm ready to get to it.
And then how is it being kind of like you're in your last year, obviously, and being kind of, you know, that leader who's been there, done that at this point. You know, you're in your 5th year, like we said. You're kind of an older guy in a leadership position now at UMass. So talk about a little bit how that's been, you know, starting as your first year at, you know, City to now, and giving that kind of experience to the younger guys in the locker room.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like a lot of the younger guys, I've seen it, and I've been through what they experience, like the stuff they go through. So like I could talk to them about it. And also I like to lead by example, being like one of the first people in the gym, getting shots up, just doing the right stuff and communicating, and just having good relationships with everybody on the team so we could be a well-functioning group.
For sure.
Okay. And Mike, you know, as we start to like wrap it up here, we definitely appreciate, you know, for your time, but we want to know what's next for you, Mike. You know, what is in the future? I know, of course, we all, you know, at least when I was playing basketball growing up, I wanted an NBA. Didn't work out that way. It's all good though. So, but what's next for you, Mike? What's in the books for you, man?
Like you said, every guy that play basketball hopes to make the NBA, but that's not realistic. But if it happens, it happens. I'm putting the work in to try to get there. But if not, I'll try to go play overseas or something. Just try to play professional basketball and get paid for the game I love playing.
Man, and that right there, you have the right attitude, man. That right there, for you even just having that attitude, we know that you're going to be able to be prosperous and be successful, man. So, man, Mike, we really appreciate you. We really appreciate you finding time for us and talking a little bit about, you know, your basketball journey. And as we've seen, man, everywhere, whether it was at City or in Montana or San Jose, or even now at UMass, man, you worked hard, you persevered, and you were able to get the results that you wanted, man. So I want to thank you, man, and tell you that you really are an inspiration to a lot of kids, man, a lot of kids that want to come up and play basketball, man. Like how many kids, you know, out the Bay Area playing basketball over there in Massachusetts, man? Not many. So we just wanted to say congratulations, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on here. You guys have a great platform. I wish you guys nothing but the best.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, real quick. No, I told when I was talking to John, Mike, I was like, yeah, we got to get my guy Mike on there, because I know obviously I've been following you since we met. But, you know, I know it's a big year at UMass, and I know just don't take no for an answer, because I remember way back when we met, you're like, yeah, I got a chance to make league, and I think you can do it. You know, you've been putting in the work for a while, and I wish you nothing but best of luck this upcoming season, your last year. So kill him, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, dog.
Yes, sir, man. Yep. So for all the fans, man, if you guys want to stay up to date with Mike and everything that he got going on, man, I'm gonna drop his Instagram right there, right in his bubble, man. Make sure to go show him some love. Make sure to go follow him. I know he's gonna drop some great pics throughout the season of him getting some buckets, man. So make sure you guys go follow that, man, and make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to our podcast, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, man. It's gonna be right here and in the description down below. Get at us, man. So thank you very much, and we out here, y'all. Clutch Talk out.